What an offseason for the Boston Celtics. First, Danny Ainge steps down as president of basketball operations. As part of that, Brad Stevens goes from coach to president of basketball operations, and now Brad Stevens has made his first move as a general manager of this franchise. Nothing like a Woj bomb early on a Friday. Brad Stevens has traded away Kemba Walker, a 2021 first-round pick, which is currently slated as 16th overall, and a 2025 second-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for a familiar face in Al Horford, backup center Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick. We knew this was going to happen eventually. We've talked about a possible Kemba Walker trade here at Chat Sports. It was just a matter of when and who were the Celtics going to get back for Kemba Walker. Give me your one-word reaction to this trade that went down early on a Friday. Get into the comments and let me know your one-word reaction to this trade. For me, it was somewhat expected. Kemba Walker's salary is very, very prohibitive for the Boston Celtics if they try to build around Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. He's on the books for the next 2 years at around $36 and $37 million. His fit alongside those two stars wasn't really all that seamless, and the Celtics didn't get back the player that they thought they were getting in Kemba Walker when Danny Ainge made the move to bring him in, and there are a few reasons for that. Didn't fit alongside Brown and Tatum all that well, but also these knee injuries have really lingered the last 2 seasons and have kept him out of a lot of games, especially this past season when he only played 43 games for the Boston Celtics. When you look at the raw numbers, Kemba Walker wasn't all that bad. 19 plus points per game, 4 rebounds, nearly 5 assists. He shot 36% even from distance. But you could just see that Kemba Walker was lacking the explosiveness and kind of that ability that he displayed with the Charlotte Hornets when he was really one of the best scoring point guards across the entire NBA. Wasn't quite that spark because that explosiveness just wasn't there. But I go back to the fit. I think when Danny Ainge brought Kemba Walker in, he thought he was getting one of the best point guards across the NBA. That just wasn't the case because of injuries, but also because of fit. Kemba Walker is a guy who needs the ball in his hands, but when you pair him alongside Jayson Tatum as well as Jaylen Brown, the fit just didn't make sense, and there was some confusion as to who was going to be the go-to guy down the stretch. As part of this deal, though, the Celtics are going to get back a familiar face, as I mentioned, in Al Horford. And going into the NBA trade deadline, we said here on Chat Sports, the Celtics were bereft of a big man. They needed a center, and they get one back in Al Horford. His contract, no doubt, is high. Next 2 seasons, he's on the books for a base salary around $26, $27 million. That's around $9 million, $10 million less than Kemba Walker. He certainly fills a need. And Al Horford, when he signed that monster contract with the Philadelphia 76ers 2 years ago, didn't have a good season. He was pretty solid for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You can't expect Al Horford to be the guy who he was with the Boston Celtics several seasons ago when he was a really, really solid center, especially defensively, and a guy who could stretch the floor and knock down some three-pointers. But he does certainly fill a need for the Celtics where he could either start for you, he could come off the bench. He's an excellent leader and a really, really good two-way player. Not the only front court player the Celtics are getting back in this deal. Celtics fans probably remember Moses Brown because back in March, he pulled down 19 rebounds in a game against the Celtics. Former McDonald's All-American, went to UCLA, was undrafted in the 2018 NBA draft. He's kind of popped around a little bit, but this past year he was pretty solid. 8.5 points per game, almost 9 rebounds, more than a block per. He shot almost 55% from the floor. I actually think this is a pretty solid deal for Brad Stevens to bring back Al Horford. They know what to expect from him, but also Moses Brown, who could be a backup in addition to Robert Williams on this team as well. Make sure you're subscribed to Chat Sports if you go to youtube.com/chatsportstv or hit that big red subscribe button. We're going live for the NBA Draft Lottery It all goes down Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, so make sure you're subscribed because when we go live, we're going to break it down. All of the NBA draft lottery odds. We'll let you know which teams are slated to pick where. So subscribe right now to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel because we're going live for the NBA draft lottery Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. The headliners in this deal, in addition to the draft picks, Kemba Walker. He's going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not sure what that means for his future. Could the Oklahoma City Thunder work on another deal to try to send him elsewhere to a contender? Because clearly the Thunder are rebuilding. They have a bevy of picks. Sam Presti has just been wheeling and dealing. This is a young team that is rebuilding right now. That's why they got rid of Al Horford. And basically with Horford this past year, they told him in the back half of the season, just go home. We're clearly tanking. We want to play some of our younger players. We want to get good draft positioning. Stay home. Thank you for being a good leader, but we don't need you. Moses Brown, on the other hand, was one of those young players who the Thunder really wanted to find out more about. And they saw that in 43 games, he can slide in as a pretty legitimate backup center. This is a high-energy guy who's a rim-running big, obviously has the pedigree with him being a former McDonald's All-American. Now the Celtics have two really athletic centers with Robert Williams and Moses Brown, two guys who can block shots, two guys who are extremely active, and they are going to be tutored. They are going to be taught by Al Horford, who is a consistent winner. He is a former All-Star. He's been getting it done for a long time in the NBA, and on many of the teams that he has played for, he has helped lead them to playoff appearances. This is a great leadership player that the Celtics can get back, and a good familiar face as well who slides into the system. For who's going to be the coach, we're not sure, but you know what you're going to get from Al Horford. So who do you think won this trade? Get into the comments, get your votes in. If you're new to us here at Chat Sports, we're a very interactive YouTube channel. We allow you to voice your opinions as well. Type T if you think the Thunder won this trade. Type C if you think the Boston Celtics won this trade. Get into the comments and get your votes in. For me, at the end of the day, I think the Celtics won this trade. You're shedding some salary. You're getting rid of a player who Kemba Walker has said didn't want to be with the Boston Celtics, doesn't fit in, and his contract is very, very prohibitive going into a crucial offseason with the Celtics where you have to get it right here and build around two of the top young players in the NBA in Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. So I think the Celtics won this trade because they fulfill a need, they shed some salary, and they get rid of a player who didn't want to come back to the Boston Celtics this upcoming season. As I mentioned, Celtics still looking for a head coach. Brad Stevens, this is his first big move as a general manager of this franchise. They've requested interviews with several candidates. We've covered that on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Two of the headliners who they have requested interviews with and are expected to interview: Chauncey Billups, he's currently an assistant coach with the Los Angeles Clippers under Ty Lue; Carol Lawson, a former assistant coach with the Boston Celtics who Brad Stevens brought in. She is currently the women's coach at Duke. And now that Rick Carlisle and the Dallas Mavericks have parted ways, could Carlisle be in the mix for this gig? It is extremely desirable when you have Tatum and Brown to build around, and now Al Horford who comes in and you get that veteran presence. Here on the show today, we've talked about all of these draft assets for the Oklahoma City Thunder. My gosh, I mean, Sam Presti, general manager of this franchise, he's obviously stationed in the Midwest. He's been wheeling and dealing in the Midwest like an old country western gunslinger. Check out all of the picks that the Thunder have over the next few years. 15 first-round picks over the next 5 years, and 3 picks in the 2021 NBA draft. Obviously, we don't know how the NBA draft lottery is going to shake up, but this is where the Thunder's picks stand right now. 3 picks in 2021, 2 first-round picks in 2022, 4 first-round picks in 2023, 3 first-round picks in 2024, and 3 more first-round picks in 2025. Are you kidding me? If you're a Thunder fan right now, yes, the modern-day current status of the Thunder is somewhat bleak, But the future looks somewhat bright because you have a bunch of draft capital and you're just hoping and expecting that the Thunder are going to be able to get some of these picks right or maybe use them in trades to continue to build this organization and maybe get back to the glory days of getting another Kevin Durant, another James Harden, as well as another Russell Westbrook. Interesting times in OKC, fascinating times in the NBA right now. Offseason already in full-fledged underway, even though the NBA playoffs going on right now. It's crazy, and we're going to continue to cover it here at Chat Sports. So make sure you're subscribed, because any news that does break across the entire association, we have you covered here at Chat Sports. We're bringing you the latest news and rumors, but when a move like this goes down, we have you covered all across the NBA. So for those of you who are new here and haven't subscribed to us at Chat Sports, we're getting closer and closer to 250,000 subscribers. We're going live for the NBA Draft Lottery on Tuesday. We bring you the latest news and rumors as well as breaking news. Something like this happens, we put out a video right away. So go to youtube.com/chatsportstv or hit that red subscribe button. For Celtics fans out there, we do have a Celtics channel where we're covering the latest around the Boston Celtics. Go to youtube.com/CelticsTV. Let this be your offseason hub for everything going down with this franchise. It is a pivotal offseason, and we're going to be covering it on Celtics Today as we get closer and closer to 6,000 subscribers.